Good morning again, Coffee Chat friend. Steve here with a few comments on the topic of energy. Why would I want to talk about energy? Well, I wanted to comment because it comes up a lot in conversations, and it goes something like this. Comments like, it's all about energy. It's all about the vibrations of energy. And there's different names associated and whatnot. And I would think, I get the sense that this is a little bit new agey in the sense that it's more of a modern way of talking about what the people of old would talk about in terms of God. A little bit. I say this because the concept of it being all about, or the origin of these sorts of things, have that sense of a bit of the conversation that would go on about God. It's all about God, or all devotion is God, or all the source of everything, and the keeper of everything, and the maintainer of everything, and so on, is God. So it's a little bit like that. But my comment on it is that I would say that there is validity to it, which is to say that what is fairly conventional wisdom now, and is based on, as far as I know, scientific research, that if we dig down enough into, metaphorically drill down into matter far enough on a deep enough scale, we find energy. In other words, there doesn't seem to be a distinction between matter and energy at a certain point. So we could say that the bodies that we animate, the houses, the rocks, stones, the earth, all that sort of thing, when we look at it deep enough, it is in fact energy. Which also has, of course, another ramification, which would mean we're all in some way, individually that is, energetically connected. We're connected because if we're standing beside somebody, we're standing on the same floor, which is physically connected to our feet are connected to our shoes are connected to the floor is connected to their shoes are connected to their feet, and so on. And also there's a gulf between us of just air, but that is also matter, which if we dig down deep enough is energy. So we are connected. We are breathing air in and out. So within moments, if we're standing in the same room, what air our neighbor breathed out, we're breathing in. And they're breathing in what we breathed out. And that's why we can catch each other's colds and whatnot, supposedly. Don't know if that's for sure, but that's the information I have got. Now the challenge with this, I think, sometimes is when we get into this concept of it's all about, is a little bit of a deterministic approach to life, which is to say that I am of the whims of this greater everything. So it's all, because if we can say it's all about, then there isn't even room for our decisions in there, which to me is a little bit nihilistic. Now, because I would say that the evidence bears that what is most important to us individually, if we are to have an effect on our quality of life experience, is that we have at least an element of free will, and that is the element that really matters in terms of what we can make. In other words, I, as far as I know what I am, individual man, can make a decision at this point to say boo or walk out the door. I can actually make that decision, and it seems to be, from all experience of life, that was a decision that I individually made. Now what's behind all of that is the rest of the story, how it is that I'm capable of doing it and whatnot, and I've talked about this before. But that stuff is not really all that important for everyday practical realization of improving our experience in life. It's interesting, it's an interesting conversation, it's an interesting philosophical discussion, or a source-based discussion, this sort of thing, but it doesn't really matter that much. So I just thought that I would comment on this because, I don't know, when people say things sometimes, I put it through the grinding wheel, if you will, of my questioning inside and see what validity there is there from my perspective. And I would say, yes, it seems to be that our experience in life, if we step back a little bit in the origin of where it's coming from, is about energy. At the same time, we have to say it's also about matter, because they seem to be equatable. So the experience of our life, we talked about yesterday how life animates the body, the mind, and this sort of thing. Life force, right? I'm not sure what that is, other than that it's like, the hand inside the puppet. But nevertheless, the puppet is what we get to experience life through. The sensory experience, the emotional experience, the mental experience, all of that is what we get to experience life through. And as far as I understand, deep down enough, whether it's called matter or energy doesn't seem to matter, because they are equatable at a certain point. And not only that, everything's connected through that energy. Now, we could probably talk about vibrations at another point, but I think that the vibrations, from what I can see, having studied a little bit of electricity and so on with sine waves and what have you, is that the vibrations are just a state, if you will, of the energy. So it's not as though whether the vibration, what vibration is there is just is a state, or not even a level, but it's a state of it. It's like if you have an ocean that is very calm, maybe it's just moving a little bit, or you have a very stormy ocean, it's still the ocean. It's just that the ocean is in a different state from one to the other. And that is something that, the energetic level of ourselves, perhaps, I don't really know much about that, but all I know is that when people talk about vibrations, it just has to do with the cycles of the energy. And of course, different types of material is going to be the type of the matter is going to be reflected in the energy that we can look at. So surely there is a difference there as well in terms of what the energy is, the state of the energy. Because one or the other, if the matter is the reflection of the energy, or the energy is a reflection of them, and they're probably reflections of each other. So obviously, if we can see a difference in the physical matter, whether it's liquid or solid and this sort of thing, then there has to be a difference in the energy. I would say that I don't have any evidence of this, but it just makes sense, right? Sometimes we infer things based on what makes sense. Oh, whatever value that is, I would say that talking about energy is important, although it can have a little bit of religiosity to it. I like to break it down and run it through the mental faculty, the filter, if you will, to give it some sort of practical perspective. And that's mine this morning, that yes, it seems to be that everything has something to do with energy, and we're all connected through it. Whatever that's worth, I think that if nothing else, it helps us with a little bit of self-knowledge, because we can understand, maybe to a slight degree anyway, how if somebody is even emotionally a certain way near us, it affects us. Because if we're connected and something's happening there, and there's a connection there, then we're going to feel it. So maybe that just teaches us something, and therefore we can make decisions more clearly. Hope this was helpful. My name is Steve. I'll talk to you again soon. Bye-bye for now.